In this demonstration, we're going to verify that our configuration works. We're going to demonstrate signing into Unified Communication Manager and IM and Presence with our Jabber clients. Here's our Jabber client, and we're going to sign in with our username at globalmantics.com. It'll then query DNS, and it will locate our Unified Communication Manager and IM and Presence servers, and then we should be prompted for a password. We'll click Continue, and there we go. We'll enter the password. That does the trick. Now we're signed in, and we're available. We're ready to send and receive calls. Let's take a look at some of the different features and settings that our Jabber client has. We can add contacts. Those contacts can come from the directory, which we mentioned. We can point to Unified Communication Manager for those contacts, or we can also point to Microsoft LDAP, Lightweight Directory Authentication Protocol, for our contacts. Or we could configure a third-party LDAP database if we had that set up for contacts. We can click Chats. We can send and receive chat messages with our users. We can examine recent calls. We've got the ability to configure Jabber to talk to Unity Connection so that we can retrieve voicemail using IMAP, Internet Messaging Application Protocol. We haven't configured that, but we could. Notice the status for Owen, the green oval next to the username. We can change that. We can change it to away. We can change it to do not disturb. The color of that oval is going to be important because it determines the user's status, and it lets other users know Owen's presence. We're going to go into the Settings button, and we can go into File, Options. We can go in and change and customize our different settings for Jabber. We could change which font we're going to use for our chat, or we could set up our speakers and our video cameras under Audio and Video. We could go into Calls and say, hey, when I place a call, do you want to start with video or do you want to manually initiate video once the call's been established? We could set locations so that if you're working outside of the office, other users would see that. If you're at home, users would know, hey, don't send me a chat asking me to go to the printer and pick up your TP reports and bring them to you. Get your own TP reports. I'm not in the office. You can change notifications and decide how you want to be notified when an incoming call or chat comes in. We could go into our self-care portal. If we were configured as an end user, we would go in here and manage our own endpoints. We could also examine our calendar integration if we have the Jabber client configured to integrate with Lotus Notes, Google Calendar, or Microsoft Outlook, which we don't, but we certainly could. So that's where we're going to go to access our options. We can also go into the Settings, Help. We can choose error notifications because this is going to display any potential Jabber connectivity issues. We can go back to Settings, Help, and we can show connection status. And this will show us the connectivity status of the different options that we associated to our profile. We did not configure CTI or voicemail, and it shows, hey, they're not connected. But we did configure presence. That's us talking to the IM and Presence server, and the address book is Jabber connecting to Unified Communication Manager. So examining both the connection status and the error reports are useful if we need to do some troubleshooting. We'll close that out. So this is our Jabber client, and as we can see, there are many options. There are lots of features that end users can use to help simplify how they communicate with others, both in and out of the organization. Before we finish with Jabber, we wanted to go over a few points that you might want to remember. Number one, Jabber supports Windows, Mac, Android, and Apple iOS. It's a very versatile product, and we can run it on a wide variety of platforms. And then there's the Jabber button colors. These are the ovals that are next to users that display their present status. If there's a red oval next to a contact, that means that the user is sharing content or presenting, and that the user does not want to be disturbed. If there's a yellow oval next to a user, that indicates that the user's in a scheduled Outlook meeting, and we would interpret that as do not disturb. These are the present status that can be set using our Jabber clients. And that brings us to the end of the module. In it, we demonstrated how to configure Jabber to register with Unified Communication Manager and IM Presence. We showed you how to set up the Unified Communication Manager. We showed you how to set up the Cisco IM and Presence server. Then we demonstrated how to configure Jabber. We logged on and verified that it worked. And we showed you the different Jabber settings, options, and how to check for errors. Coming up next, we're going to go over troubleshooting telepresence endpoints. And you definitely don't want to miss that. We'll see you there.